Are you ready?
I was born ready.
Hello. Welcome everybody to episode 9 of the Stock Guy and Alex Show, the podcast, which is what we decided we're going to call it. The podcast that covers topics around the world. Business, news, markets, money, and sports. If people are talking about it, so are we. Stock Guy and Alex Show can be watched, listened, and viewed on YouTube. It can also be downloaded and listened to on Spotify. And very soon, wherever all other podcasts are downloaded. Follow the show on Twitter, Insta, LinkedIn, TikTok, and all other major socials for clips, moments, and information about new episodes. What's up, dude? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Happy 2022.
Yeah, happy 2022. This is show number 1 of the new year. Last we spoke, it was just a few short days away from New Year's Eve. Guys, everybody, thank you for coming and hanging out for a brand new episode, number 9. This is going to be the episode that demarks weekly frequency of this show. So we're gonna
That's
switch
right.
it up.
We're gonna be in your life every single week.
He said he's gonna be in you. If you guys are listening, be prepared. Be ready. Hide your kids, hide your wife, hide your kids, hide your wife.
God.
And
I was almost late today.
What, to this?
Yeah, to the thing, because I was watching the baby, and then I had like 30 minutes until we were like gonna meet for our little like pre thing, and I kind of got busy. So I got myself a lot of new toys, and I have been addicted to playing with them for the last couple weeks. Today I got in a leaf blower, and I was in the backyard where the grass I put in and all the leaves are down, and I can't rake it because the grass is still new. So I was just out there with the leaf blower, and I just like got lost, and I was like, oh shit, and I came running in. So the weed eater gets here tomorrow.
Leaf blowing is really like, you get like it's one of those things you just turn your brain off and you just get
power
stuck
washing.
in it.
I told you the key to happiness I've learned is power washing, and I power wash the shit out of stuff this weekend. But I've got all these new toys, and I've become an ultimate dad, and I'm out there with my yard like all day. It's awesome.
You got all these for Christmas? Are these all Christmas gifts?
No, I bought them for myself. Nobody fucking buys me anything for Christmas.
What'd your wife get you for Christmas?
AirPods that she now uses every day because we actually both got each other basically AirPods. I got her ones that were a better version that don't, because here's the thing, okay? I know we're not even into the story yet. Apple intentionally sells you shit that breaks or doesn't work very long because you have to have it for their product, and they want you to continue to buy more. This isn't a conspiracy, and that's why the chargers always fail or break or whatever, right? So I bought her a different like off-brand, but like a different like whatever that lasts longer, has better battery life, charging power, and distance, whatever. She lost them within 3 days, and now my AirPods are her AirPods. So I didn't get anything for Christmas, actually.
Yeah, but this stuff doesn't cost very much. I had a buddy who worked at the Apple store.
That AirPods that cost like $150 or something?
No, yeah, but I mean, I've had my pair of AirPods for almost 3 years.
Oh, sorry. That's right. I forgot I was talking to a rich guy. Oh, it didn't cost
3
very
years?
much. It's $150.
So I had a buddy that worked at the Apple store, and he had a guy come in and say, "Hey, my phone's not working." This is back when like iPhone, I don't know, they were on like iPhone 12. He was holding an iPhone 5. And my buddy was like, "Hey, yeah, you need to just re-up your phone. Like, your phone's old and it's breaking." And the guy goes, "Why do I always need to get a new phone after so many years? How come it doesn't just work forever like my car?" And my buddy was like, "Did you spend $30,000 on your phone?" And the guy was like,
I've owned 3 iPhones in my life. I had the first iPhone from 2008 to 2014, and then I got the iPhone 5, which I had from 2014 to 2020. And when that finally broke, I got the 9 or 10 or whatever it was, and I still have that one now. That's it.
But you know, the thing with AirPods is that they just mark them up like crazy, and all the parts are cheap as hell. So it's like, it's not built to last. I mean, that stuff, if you get 2 years life out of it, that's good. If you get 2 years of life out of something small like that, that's $1 billion product line for them. By
Whatever.
The way.
I mean, it is what it is. Okay. All right. But I'm not gonna go on a tangent here. All right. I told you that before we get into the whole show, because we got a shitload to cover today.
So much.
Before we get into it, I was gonna hit you some stuff because I want to get your opinion. I see you're wearing the jersey, so I know I always say let's stop talking football because this isn't a sports podcast, and today is gonna be the day I bring up football. Couple things now that the NFL regular season is over that I wanted to go over. Number one, congratulations to Georgia after 41 years getting a national championship, beating their cousins and brothers in Alabama. That's cool and all, but I don't really give a shit. Nobody cares about that. I was rooting for Cincinnati because, why not? But here's the thing I want to ask you. Number one, you said all season that Jags were going to be must-see TV.
They
were not
TV.
must-see TV if you were a fan. Okay,
We've already covered this.
But I am going to say that the last game of the season made the entire season worth it because I got to watch the Colts, who haven't beat Jacksonville in Jacksonville since 2014, okay? Since 2014, go in there with a win and you're in the playoffs and get demolished. Trevor Lawrence finally had a good game. The best part, too, was that the entire stadium was dressed as clowns to make fun of the Shad Khan, the owner, and Balk, the GM. And to make it even better, the Lions could have had the first pick and decided to beat the Green Bay Packers, and we still get the #1 pick in a terrible draft, and we'll end up losing that first round pick down the line. So
Kayvon Thibodeau, shout out. That's going to be who you pick. D-end out of Oregon, pass rusher.
No. We need an offensive line. I don't know who the best offensive line is, and the problem is that in a draft like this, nobody wants to trade up with you, right? Like it's like you get the first overall pick, no one wants to trade up with you.
Well, you
can
definitely trade up for it. You're just not going to get the premium you would the other years.
Exactly.
The Colts. Could you imagine being a Colts fan? Rest in peace, Colts fanship, because you just got to bury that thing and forget about it. It is miserable to root for Carson Wentz in a game win and you're in situation, and he can't get the job done against the worst team in the NFL. It was must-see TV, by the way.
He couldn't get the job done. Is that the Jags actually played ball. I couldn't believe it. Like the Jags actually played ball, and Trevor Lawrence finally had a good game. But another thing, the last thing about that game that was really interesting is that it reminded me, and my favorite Jaguars game of all time was when they beat the Colts years ago, and it was when Fred Taylor and Maurice Jones-Drew had just come into the league, and they ran for a combined 350 yards and 5 touchdowns, and the headline the next day was Taylor Jones-Drew run over Colts. The only opponent that could stop them was the end zone. I loved it. It was amazing. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, speaking of win and you're in, I got to get your take on this.
Let's do it.
I stayed up till 12:30 on Sunday night.
Oh my God.
Hoping to God that the Chargers and Raiders, which everybody in the world was like, no way. If this, a million things had to happen, stars had to align. And then there was a chance that if all those things happened and these guys got to the last game and somehow tied, they would both go to the playoffs and the Steelers would get knocked out. And people were betting $5 on like 1,000,000 to 1 odds. And then the dude, Hebert or whatever the hell his name is for San Diego, goes like 6 for 6 for 198 yards and 3 touchdowns on 4th down in that game, brings them to overtime. He literally is on the sideline saying, I've never wanted a tie so bad in my life. The Raiders are about to run out the clock, and the Chargers coach calls a time out. Can someone, I don't have the football IQ or brain, can someone please ask me why, when the other team is very fine with running the clock out and going to the playoffs, and you're going to the playoffs too, and all you have to do is just let them run out the clock and you call a timeout? Can somebody?
Well, first off, he outsmarted it. He thought he was the smartest person in the entire stadium. He thought, okay, we're gonna get the ball back. I'm gonna call timeout. So if I get the ball back, maybe we can get in field goal range within 30 seconds after a punt that pins me down inside my own 10 or whatever. That was nonsense. No one's talking about the timeout if they get the stop on the next play. The guy, Brandon Staley, is their head coach, known for being a defensive guy. You call a timeout, and on the most important play of your entire season, what you draw up doesn't allow your team to stop. You're not smart enough to scheme a stop on 3rd and 7. They ran the ball. They ran the ball. He scampered for like 7 or 8 yards, got the first down. If you get the stop, no one's talking about the tie. If you get the stop, no one's talking about the timeout. But he didn't get the stop. They didn't get the stop, and it was miserable. I don't know if you saw, but Austin Eckler and I forget who the Raiders player were. They met in the middle of the field after the game, and Eckler said to him, you could see him mouth it. He says, "Were you all going to kneel?" And the guy was like, "Yeah, we were going to kneel." But Staley called the timeout and just screwed the pooch for him. Now, if you're the Raiders in that situation, you still should go for the win. You shouldn't kneel it out, because what they allowed themselves to do is not have to worry about playing the Chiefs in the first round. They get to play the Bengals.
No. See, if the timeout didn't happen, they were far enough out of field goal range that it was kind of a, hey, if we miss this,
Yeah.
And there's time on there, or they run it back. No, they would have kneeled it. It wasn't until they got the first down and then got in field goal range that they were like, well, fuck it. Let's take the last. We're close enough that if he misses, it's going to go out the back of the end zone. And you know what? If we miss, we still go to the playoffs. If we win, we don't go to the Chiefs.
It was also the most bet on tie in the history of the Vegas sports books. Typically, ties are given, like if you were to bet on any random, NFL game, if you were to bet on it ending in a tie, typically you're given about 50-1 odds. Some more, some less, depending on the matchup. That one moved to 11-1 because so many people loaded up on the tie because it was just a fun bet. Like you said, $5 wins, whatever, $1,000 or something like that. The odds were so long at the beginning that they had to constantly shift. It finally shifted to on average across the books. It was 11-1, and had that game ended in a tie, it would have been a tens of millions of dollars bath that Vegas would have taken. They came out and said, man, they were obviously rooting for a winner.
Wait. So you're telling me that the Las Vegas Raiders could save Vegas bookkeepers millions and millions of dollars? Hey, that sounds like somebody got paid off.
If you don't believe that this is some form of WWE level of entertainment at the beginning of this, then you're an ignorant fan.
What if the Chargers coach got a call and said, hey, we'll give you $10 million if you call a timeout right now?
No, that's 100%. I believe that happened. Like, I don't believe that didn't happen. I believe that happened. So, he's got the hat. He's got the hat.
I don't know. It's in honor of you. Go ahead. I got to hear how we're going to get canceled by Barstool Sports tomorrow for talking about how the Raiders, we just accused the Chargers head coach of taking a $10 million bribe. We're going Pete Rose territory. Keep going.
I don't even believe that we live in a world where that's not on the table. Like, why someone who thinks that all these millions of dollars that are at stake, they're not just going to be toyed with and tampered with, and someone calls a timeout and then someone radios in and says, hey, by the way, if you do this, that, or the other, I'm going to give you this much money. Like, of course that happens. It's Las Vegas Raiders, man. It's the LA Chargers. I mean, you're dealing with a lot of money, and every fan had a great time. So do not act like it ruins the efficacy of the entertainment. Everybody had a great time. The
amount of people watching that game. You know who won? Who was the real winner in that entire thing? The advertisers. Oh my God, they got their money's worth.
Everybody won.
I even watched
Everybody won, and that's obviously.
I mean, I watched it on. I pirated it, but still, I watched it too.
Of course, the LA Chargers didn't win, and the LA Charger fans didn't win. All 7 of them. They didn't win in the situation, but everybody else, and I said LA Chargers. There's a lot of San Diego Charger fans. Shout out San Diego Chargers, which you refer to them as San Diego.
We're going way too long on this.
Did you think, real quick, did you think that you were watching San Diego versus Oakland? How long did it take you to realize you were watching LA versus Vegas?
I didn't realize it at all. It never even occurred to me. But then I thought to myself, of all teams in the NFL's reputation to put in Las Vegas, the Raiders had to be the worst one. Because I remember growing up and that everybody went to the Raiders was like a drug addict. I remember like Romanowski, like steroids, killing people. And like that was like if you got into a DUI and you beat your girlfriend and you were going to prison, you got a contract from the Oakland Raiders. Like that was like, when you get out, we've got a contract for you. Like that was like what it was back in the day.
Good Raiders too, by the way. Bo Jackson, Rich Gannon, Charles Woodson. There's been some good Raiders, man.
Rich Gannon was trash.
He won the MVP in 2002. Took him to a Super Bowl.
You really want to go down the MVP thing? Here's a cool stat for you. Did you know that Tom Brady has thrown 188 touchdowns since he has turned 40? Troy Aikman threw 188 in his career.
188 in his career?
Or postseason career or whatever. I don't know.
That's wildly different than just career. I would not believe that.
Sorry. Tom Brady has thrown 188 touchdowns in the postseason after turning 40. I don't remember what it was. Some crazy stat. All right, last football thing, because I wanted to hit on 2 of them. Speaking of betting, did you see that even though the Jaguars have beat the Colts in Jacksonville every year since 2014, they were still negative 14.5-point underdogs, and they were giving a 700 a plus 700 bet, and money a guy line bet $14,000 and won $98,000. And the last one is Antonio Brown.
Oh my God. The Antonio Brown stuff's incredible. I didn't think you'd want to talk about the Antonio Brown stuff. The Antonio Brown
My
stuff.
favorite part of it is Tom Brady going through everything, talking about, oh, you know what Tom Brady reminded me in this situation? He's like that guy who has a girlfriend and he beats the shit out of her or whatever, and she goes to her friends and says he's gonna change, he's better, and then like everybody's like, all right, fine, go for it. Then he goes in, he beats the shit out of her again, and then like everybody's like, well, you knew it was coming, you know, not to get dark. But...
What do you mean not to get dark? That was immediately.
Well, you know what
dark.
I mean? Okay. Sorry. The guy whose girlfriend gaslights and cheats on him, is that better?
I mean, better than beating, I guess, but gaslighting's also not good. Don't do anything like that.
We just spent the first like half of this podcast on football. I didn't mean for that to happen.
Hold on, I just for the YouTube viewer, I got the Antonio Brown leaving the field completely topless, completely unprecedented. The dude just leaves. Were you watching football at the time, or did you see it after the fact?
I thought after the fact.
This was incredible. I was watching NFL Red Zone, incredible coverage that the NFL does, and they go from game to game to game to game, and then they go to the Bucs game. They say, "Hey, here's a weird one. Antonio Brown isn't on the field anymore. In fact, he's not even. He's in the locker room, and he doesn't even have a shirt on." And they showed him leaving the field, just waving goodbye. Dude got fired on the sideline. Allegedly, he said he got fired on the sideline. Who knows? Bunch of hearsay. This guy.
The next day, he was at a basketball game courtside somewhere. I forgot where it was.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's not hurt. He's just left. Did you see
No,
that?
he just walked out. But here's my conspiracy theory. You have one. I have another one. He either took himself out or got taken out and was not going to get his massive incentive. Right? He leaves, quits, doesn't get the incentive. This past weekend, I think Tom Brady called up the GM and said, hey, you know how we're not paying that incentive out? I want Gronk to get it. And so even though they were benching Brady on Sunday, he told the coach, F you, no, went into the game, threw the pass to Gronk, and Gronk got a $500,000 incentive despite missing 6 games in the season because Brady said no and went in. I think that he said, hey, why not? You're not paying it to Antonio Brown. I'm going to get it to Gronk.
He was going to get that incentive anyway. Anyway, he was going to hook him up. That's how these end of the seasons are. The quarterbacks try to look out for their receivers. They try to get them the ball, this, that, or the other.
But it's not fair. It's 17 games. And that was something else I wanted to go over. God, we're taking too much time on this. Maybe we'll talk about it next time. But we have to have a full conversation of, do 17-game season records need an asterisk if they beat previous 16-game season records?
Yeah, it's going to be weird. It's going to be weird because, you know, this just happened with the Jamar Chase rookie receiving record. In fact, he did it in the typical time frame up until week 17, which he had played 16 games at that point, beat the rookie receiving record. However, everyone kept saying, oh, even though he beat it, everyone afterward, I mean, he beat it in the normal amount, a lot of time. He didn't need week 18 to get it done. Everyone afterwards is just going to say, oh, like he only beat it because he had that extra week. He didn't need to. But how are you supposed to regard these records at this point? I think that's a good question. I have no idea. I don't really put a lot of stock.
For of you that are still listening to this podcast because you're bored with football, I'm going to say something that's controversial, but it's right. Okay? I am right here. If anyone says, it doesn't count because he did it in extra games, you are an effing idiot. Do you want to know why? Do you want to know why you're stupid? Because all of those previous records were when it was changed from 14 to 16 games, and you're not talking about those people. Well, it doesn't count because they did in 16 games, not 14.
Who cares?
Get wrecked.
Who cares about the records? Also, Stocky's cleaning it up in 2022. Is that a resolution of yours? Say effing instead of your typical language.
It's just because I'm getting old and I don't want to have an aneurysm or have my heart go out.
All right, well, we'll see about that. We're 12 days in. We're 11 days in. You're already...
Did you not hear? Did you not see what I just did there?
Oh, okay. So tell me more. What would happen, Stocky, if you had an aneurysm or if your heart went out? Tell me more.
If I had an aneurysm, I would just die. And there's probably a betting pool out there because of how passionate I get about stocks and money.
What about if your heart goes out?
If my heart starts going out and I need a transplant, okay? People are unhealthy. 48% of Americans are either obese or severely obese. Their hearts are covered in fat. The rest of them are on drugs or other shit. There is a lot of tainted organs out there. Trust me, I spent some time in my early 20s in the organ harvesting business. It is very hard to come by clean organs. So if you need a heart transplant, the future may not be humans. It may not be humans.
Man gets genetically modified pig heart. Yeah, you heard that. Human gets genetically modified pig heart in world first transplant, according to this BBC article on BBC.com. This is the man right here. For those that are watching, you can see him. A U.S. man has become the first person in the world to get a heart transplant from a genetically modified pig. David Bennett, 57, is doing well 3 days after the experimental 7-hour procedure in Baltimore. The transplant was considered the last hope of saving Mr. Bennett's life, though it is not yet clear what his long-term chances of survival are. It was either die or do this transplant, Mr. Bennett explained a day before the surgery. I know it's a shot in the dark, but it's my last choice. Doctors at the U of Maryland Medical Center were granted a special dispensation by the U.S. medical regulator to carry out the procedure on the basis that Mr. Bennett, who has terminal heart disease, would otherwise have died. Stocky, tell us more. You knew a little bit more about the pig and how they grew this thing. I mean, but instead of just going through the entire article, what happened here?
Well, TLDR, pigs have often been somewhat compatible compared to other animals with humans as far as transplants of organs, especially hearts. But it's still difficult because you're talking about an entire different animal, and there's certain things that need compatibility when it's coming to blood and circulation and the way that these things are developed and everything. So it's been a tricky thing. But this new company, and for those that are in my stream or watch my stream or were in my morning call this morning, will know that a specific company did a gene splicing, gene editing, and genetically modified a pig to specifically grow a heart that would be more compatible for humans. They grew this pig to 240 pounds, and now they have taken that pig's heart and placed it in this man, and he is doing okay so far. Now, there is a stock that is this company that did that. And if this guy survives and does well, then this could be the future. And this company could be the first, and they could explode. I'm not going to do any stock picks here or anything like that. Keep an eye on it. But there was another company. More importantly, it's not just about if your body can take it and
oh God,
it's not just if your body can accept it.
And you could definitely say can take it, but you just can't laugh and do the thing that you did afterwards. You could say that. That's a totally fine sentence. That's totally chilling.
But there is another company that has a drug that they're using to help the body, not, to not, get rid of it. Because obviously you bring in a foreign object into your body and your blood cells.
It's totally fine. Chilling.
Your blood cells and your immune system may start to attack it because they feel like it's not it's a foreign object and it doesn't belong in your body. And so there is a medication that is funny. There. And there is a company out there and the stock is KNSA, and I bought it today and I'm up pretty good on it. And so they're the company working with them for the medication to help his body, accept this this new heart. And I know this is going to sound bad. Not that I don't always sound bad, but I know that this is going to sound bad. All right? I get that. But if in the next 30 to 90 days he survives and his body accepts it and he lives a good life, I'm going to make a bunch of money. Now, before anyone judges me, you're going to say to yourself, Stocky, you're betting on a man's life. Hey, we do that all the time. But you're betting on the life. I'm betting on him living. I'm taking the over.
Life's too short, much too short to bet the under, first and foremost. Second off, there's nothing wrong with trying to with being on the same side as him. You want him to live long and prosper. I want him to live longer.
I'm hoping that he lives longer. For different reasons than his friends and family. But at the same time, I've got, it's not a lot. I got a couple $1,000 on it.
I wouldn't say necessarily for different reasons. You want the guy to live. It's okay to.
Honestly, if he's getting close to it and he's not sure and it's working and he pulls through, I may break some off to him.
So BBC says people die all the time on the waiting list waiting for organs. If we could use genetically engineered pig organs, they'd never have to wait. They could basically get an organ as they needed it. Plus, we wouldn't have to fly all over the country at nighttime to recover organs to put them into recipients. The possibility, the possibility of using animal organs for so-called, is what they call it, xenotransplantation to meet the demand has long been considered, and using pig heart valves is already common. Okay, cool. I mean, listen, Stocky's going to stand to gain big if this guy lives. Also, this guy stands to gain big if he lives because it's life, and we want this guy to live. How old did they say it was? It was David Bennett. He's 57 years old. Okay, so
PETA is in shambles right now, though. We're gonna grow more pigs. But think about it this way, PETA. Before you get upset, think about it this way. Unlike the pigs that are mistreated and slaughtered, and gassed, and everything for meat consumption, these pigs need to be taken well care of because they're gonna be valuable. So hey. Good life. Good
This
life.
is it's very, 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 very positive. David Bennett, we're gonna track this. Let's track the podcast over. I kind of want to
I'll be tracking it. My portfolio's tracking the shit out of it.
I guess that's true. You're so incentivized to track this thing. You're just gonna tell me.
If anybody wants to get in on this, I don't have odds, but the stock is KNSA. Just throwing it out there. Full disclosure, I bought 200 shares at $11.64 today. So just
if these pigs, match up with human bodies so well, hopefully they can do more research. I mean, xenotransplantation, I don't know what the hell else, but man, hopefully they can do more research against whatever goes wrong in our bodies. Hopefully.
It's different this time. It's different this time because they're genetically modifying pigs for this specific reason. And it's just, like I said, that's why that company is the one we were talking about, and I'm betting on this other one. But you know what? At least we talked about this earlier with the Las Vegas and stuff like that, and I'm doing it with stocks. At least I'm betting on stocks and people's lives and not on high school girls basketball game.
Guys, high school girls basketball coach has been officially suspended after his team defeated the opponent 92-4. According to this article, WFSB.com, a high school basketball coach was suspended for basically slaughtering the opponent. Sacred Heart Academy in Hamden defeated Wallingford. Sacred Heart.
That's some backwoods. That sounds like one of the schools we played in North Carolina.
The Wallingford's Lyman. Is that your North Carolina accent? Wallingford's
we played Hendersonville, Inca. We played Smoky Mountain. We played who else we play? We played who else was in our conference? Asheville.
You probably played Boone.
Brevard.
Brevard and Boone. You probably played
well, Boone was too far away.
Brevard is the land of the waterfalls, land of the 10,000 waterfalls or whatever. There's a lot of good hiking in Brevard. Brevard's a good part of the country. Shout out Brevard. Sacred Heart Academy in Hamden.
Ugly ass women though.
Jesus, it defeated Wallingford's Lyman Hall High School 92-4 on Monday night. Coach Jason Kirk has yet to issue a comment. His Sacred Heart Academy team is considered one of the best in the state. It was undefeated and ranked third in this week's game time CT poll. Before Monday night's game, the team won by scores of 83-48 and 80-37. By comparison, the Windsor Schoolboys basketball team won its last two games 116-53 and 107-58. I mean, slaughtering.
This school, men and women, boys and girls, both need to be in a different conference because they're just destroying everybody. Okay, I mean, the guys beating by 60-70 their opponents, the women. I mean, I don't know what's going on at this school, but they need to be in a different division. I'm sorry.
I mean, this says something about the Connecticut Interscholastic Athletic Conference, the CIAC, promotes safety and sportsmanship above all else for our member schools. The associate executive director said, "We have been in communication with both schools as well as the Southern Connecticut Conference, and we will continue to offer support to our member schools as they work through this difficult situation."
What's he supposed to do? About? Tell his team to not give it their all and teach them, because someone's not as good, you take it easy on them. No, you fucking go out there and crush them. If I'm playing peewee football against a bunch of 9-year-olds, okay, I'm gonna run the shit over them. Okay, I am going to stiff arm and bury a 9-year-old. I don't care. I'm not gonna. If I get that. Okay, all right. Now that I got that rant over. What the other team scored 4 points. I think this says more about the other team than it does about this team. What are they supposed to do? Just dribble and get a 5-second violation or a backcourt violation every time they take the ball down?
So in this situation, I think the hope is that you're playing literally all your reserves. If he had his starters,
did they not?
I have no idea. The article doesn't say. I mean, the article is really, it just kind of skirts the surface because it's a non-story. Who cares, right? Like, there's no reason to do that much digging at this point.
I don't think high school girls basketball teams have many reserves, Alex. I don't think they bring a 30 person team. I think it's probably like the starting
30.
5 and like 3 alternates. I mean, what do you bring in?
Way, bro. They got
the special ed manager or something to play. I've seen that. It's a heartwarming story, but like you can't put them in for the whole game.
You got 15 people on the roster. Play your last 5, or just cycle people in. If they, the only issue here is if he played his starters the whole time, I guess. Who cares at the end of the day? They obviously suspended this guy because they didn't like it. But, like, I mean, what kind of lesson?
Can we stop focusing on them scoring 94 points? Maybe they outscored it. Maybe but if the basket's open every single time you get the ball, you just walk in and lay it up, right? You do that 45 times, which is not that many times in a game, right? 45 times, 10 seconds down the court. That's what, 450 seconds. That's less than an hour. I mean, that's literally all you do. The other team scored 4 points. That is the real story here. How the fuck do you score 4 points?
At the end of the day, I just don't think it's that big of a deal. I think you just basically, if you don't want your guy to do that, just fire the guy or suspend him or I guess whatever. But like, what kind of lesson is it if you're telling these kids that you shouldn't just keep going and give it your all? I mean, yeah, you're right. 4 points is not a lot of points, but I mean, these teams were not matched up well in the first place. So I don't know who's dealing with the scheduling. But
maybe it's just we're getting soft. Maybe it's the whole participation trophy thing. It's like with my wife. She oftentimes will be like, "Oh my God, look, the baby, ate with a spoon." I'm like, okay, that's what she's supposed to do. I'm not gonna promote mediocrity in my house. Okay, you do. That's what you should be doing. Oh, look, she finally took some steps. Good. She's supposed to at this age. If she wasn't, I would call her a failure. I am not going to give my kid a participation trophy and reward mediocrity. We are not going to have that. We strive for excellence. Okay, that's all I'm saying. That other team should not have a basketball. Maybe what if there was only one person on the other team and then we don't know this?
Well, I mean, listen, at the end of the day, all we know is this guy got suspended and they're removing him from the workplace, which can actually be kind of dangerous if you're a coach, because coaches these days are getting a lot of help whenever they're at work, whenever they're on the sideline.
Sexist to me.
What's that?
That sounds sexist to me.
No, I'm saying coaches.
I feel like they're pushing the male
gender.
coaches out of female basketball. I think this might actually be bigger than we know. This might actually be something we need to revisit later on. And I'm going to throw it out there. But you know what? Listen, okay? It's not just the coach. It's not just the players. The fans are just as responsible, right? Did you hear the parents out there saying anything? No. But sometimes when it comes to sports, the fans can actually be helpful.
Guys, a
Weird
hockey
transition.
fan. No, it was good. It was good. Guys, there's a hockey fan out there that was out to save a coach's life. A hockey fan spots cancerous mole on staffer's neck, delivers a life-saving note. Guys, up in Seattle, Brian Hamilton was in the middle of moving equipment on the Vancouver Canucks bench in between periods on October 23rd when he noticed a woman behind the bench pressing her phone against the plexiglass. For those that are watching, you'll see this is the image right here. It's an image of the girl. She's wearing a hat right here. This looks like it was taken obviously after the fact to pose. But this is basically what she did. She wrote a little note, and on the note it said, "The mole on the back of your neck is possibly cancerous. Please go see a doctor." So you guys know, most of you probably been to hockey games. You've seen that big plexiglass thing and the bench that separates everybody. I mean, the players and the coaches are right next to the fans. The only thing that separates them is that plexiglass. This is what she did, just like held it up against it. It turned out she was right. It says the message on her phone was written in a large font and caught the attention of Hamilton, the assistant equipment manager for the Canucks. The message expressed Nadia Popovici's concern. Nice, I think I nailed that. Concern that she believed a mole on the back of Hamilton's neck was cancerous and then he needed to get it checked out. She was right. I felt bad at the moment because I'm walking off the bench. She put it on her phone, put her phone up to the glass, and on the phone it said, "The mole on the back of your neck is cancer." And it threw me off. Hamilton recalled on Saturday before the Canucks played their second game of the season. So I kind of just shrugged it and kept going. My initial response when I found out was I felt bad because I felt like I didn't really give her the time of day. I'm excited that she knows because she needs to know. So listen, don't take these coaches out of their workplace. There's fans out there that are looking out for their best interest. This is actually pretty remarkable.
He's the assistant manager of the team. He's not even the manager for the team. Okay, first of all, I need to say something. Do I seem angrier to you today?
You don't seem less energetic than you normally are. You definitely have as short of a fuse as you normally do.
That's why people of this show. We're the yin and the yang. You are the one who winds me up and lets me go.
I wind you up.
And started. No, I don't mean like you do it intentionally. I'm saying like you get me prepped for it, right?
Yeah.
Because you bring up a story and then I have a lot to say about it, right? Like I'm just the angry guy that everybody wants to hear from for some reason, or nobody wants to hear from. I don't know. But real quick, before we go into this, I'm going to say two things. Number one, I learned something that actually is related to the story, and it's not about moles and cancer. I was watching reruns of Malice in the Palace. Do you remember that?
Oh,
Ron
in
Artest,
05? In 05,
Jackson going up and
Pacers?
beating the shit out of this, beating the shit out of the stand. My favorite part of that whole thing was the one like nerdy dude in glasses who was kind of chubby who just walked up, was like, "Hey guys, what's going on?" Had nothing to do with it, and just gets fucking clocked in the face by Jackson. Just like knocked the wrong guy out, just beat the shit out of him. And those guys lost millions of dollars from that. But that led me down a rabbit hole, and I found out. Do you know why there's glass around the rink?
Probably
it's not for the hockey pucks.
It's got to be for the safety of everybody.
No. I watched, if you go back and look at the highlights of it, 1979 Boston Bruins versus somebody, I think it was the New York Islanders. There was a game where the Boston Brewers, Bruins or whatever, their player, he got kicked out for a penalty, went to the locker room, then a fan did something, and the entire Boston Bruins team in their skates, in their pads, went into the stands, and one of those guys took the shoe off of a fan and beat the shit out of this fan with his own shoe. And the entire Boston Bruins team is up in the stands beating the shit out of the fans, and the Islanders or whoever it was is sitting there. And every single Boston Bruins fan or team or player got suspended, except for the guy who got kicked off and put in the locker room. And afterwards he was interviewed and they said, "Why didn't you come out?" He says, "Fuck it, I was on my second beer by then."
Hockey players are built different, bro. They're just absolutely built different.
Well, that was the 70s too, and they all had mustaches and they were big as shit. Now, because of that, leading into, I'm going to be real with you. I'm going to be the asshole for a second before we get into the good feeling of the story. The only reason that guy's life is saved is not because that girl put out the message. It's because she was hot. Now, I know this makes me sound like an asshole, but I'm going to be honest with you. Have you seen a picture of that dude? No offense, dude is not exactly Casanova Rico Suave, right? But when you see a very attractive girl with her phone up to the glass, the reason he dismissed it at first is there's no way he thought that girl was saying something to me with her phone. Like, she's not asking for my number. It's probably one of the hockey players. Then eventually she's like, "No, you." Of course he's gonna go over there. So hey, good on that girl for being attractive.
What are you contending? Are you contending that hot, attractive people need to be good Samaritans? Need to try to be a good Samaritan more than others?
No, I'm just saying that I'm glad she was hot. Her attractiveness saved his life, and I think that I think that's the non-story here.
It is a very long message on her phone. It's not a quick one. It's not like it doesn't say like help, where like you can just see it real quick and then like you look back and then like you got the full message. This is a long sentence. It's 2 sentences, so you need to stare. So she needed to get his attention. You might be right. You're probably right.
I'm just saying. If you know, I don't know. If
by the way, hockey players are built very different. I don't know if you saw the Winter Classic on, I think it was New Year's Eve. The Blues played the Minnesota Wild in Minnesota. You know what the Winter Classic is? They play outdoors.
It's the whitest fucking thing you've ever said. Go ahead. No, I don't watch hockey. Go ahead.
Okay, so they play in Minnesota, which I don't know if you know this or not, but it's in the same country as you live in.
I know Minnesota. It's cold and there's riots. Go ahead.
So it is very cold. That's the point. I'm not going to talk about the riot part. We're going to talk about the cold part. It was -8 degrees.
That's all I know about it. But
yeah,
go ahead.
It's very cold. It was -8 degrees when they played in this Winter Classic. It was the Wild versus the Blues. They played outdoors where the Minnesota Twins play baseball. And I'm showing you right now for the viewers. The St. Louis Blues showed up in island wear. They got off the bus. They were wearing swim trunks. Some of them were shirtless. Had beach towels. They had flip-flops on. It was -8 degrees. They did it, obviously. It was just supposed to be kind of funny. But, I mean, like, still, they're walking around outside in island wear. Hockey players are built different, so that plexiglass
From
story.
St. Louis, it's the first time in a week they were able to take off their bulletproof vests being outside.
Jesus Christ. So, hockey players and the plexiglass. Oh, my God. Guys, comment, like, and subscribe down low, by the way. So the hockey players,
I look forward to your hate mail.
Hockey players built very, very different. The plexiglass thing. I like that you brought up the Malice in the Palace, by the way. I got to show our those on YouTube a couple more images. You know, that's a great reminder. I remember watching that. That was like an incredible moment. I was like an incredible
moment watching professional athletes fucking assault and almost kill.
I remember being like, I think I was in middle school. I think I was like 14. I think I was like 13. I remember watching this, and I was like, what is going? This is like WWE meets the NBA, except it's real. And I was like, this is a moment. This is like
The XFL. Go ahead.
I remember I felt like I was watching one of those moments that will be discussed forever. And like I remember as a young sports fan hearing those moments before I was alive, and then seeing this, I was like, this is it. This is going to be memorialized forever. And then Netflix has a mouse at the palace.
So many of them too. I'll never forget Allen Iverson. We out here talking about you talking about practice
AI.
or what's his name? The Colts coach from a long time ago.
Playoffs.
Playoffs.
You know what I'm talking about? Herm Edwards. Shout out Herm Edwards. Also shout out The Answer. Allen Iverson. He was my favorite player growing up. Man, a lot of.
And then that one guy, that one coach for Oklahoma State. You come after me, I'm a man. Like,
yeah.
And then
Mike
it turned
Gundy.
to that tranny guy the transitioning guy at GameStop who's like, it's ma'am. Like, just certain things you never forget.
Mike Gundy. Shout out Mike Gundy, the mullet. He always rocks the mullet. Actually, something about Mike Gundy. He's the coach of the Oklahoma State Cowboys. Rocked the mullet for like 2 decades. Then the mullet got popular. He cut it off. I think he's just a rebel against pop culture. I think he just doesn't like
the greatest rebel of all time will be John Daly. I'm sorry. John Daly is my spirit animal, always will be, minus the alcoholism, but maybe a little bit of it.
John Daly.
Listen, John Daly's gotten clean. He found religion and maybe he's a Catholic. I don't know. He seems like he's been clean. I don't know if he is. I watched a documentary about Jake the Snake, who was my favorite wrestler growing up, even though I never watched him. I just played a video game and he ended up getting sober and then getting drunk again. But you never know. Religion can often make people change, and religious leaders often are very vocal on what they believe.
Guys, the Pope Francis, which is our current Pope right now, Pope Francis decides to come out and say couples that are deciding to have pets instead of children are not good for our world. I'm paraphrasing. But that's basically what he came out and said. Pope Francis shared his opinion on couples who decide to have pets instead of children, saying that it results in a loss of humanity. While speaking to a general audience about St. Joseph serving as Jesus' foster father, Pope Francis, 85, said, according to the translation from the Vatican News, or according to a translation, Joseph shows us that this type of bond is not secondary. It is not an afterthought. No, this kind of choice is amongst the highest forms of love and of fatherhood and motherhood. How many children in the world are waiting for someone to take care of them? He applauded those who decide to adopt children before turning his attention to couples who choose to have pets rather than children. Some people don't wish to have children, or maybe just 1 or 2. Maybe couples don't have children, perhaps because they do not wish to, or they only have 1 and not more. But they might have 2 domestic animals, 2 dogs or cats. This is quite a contrast. Obviously, this is a really long article. He says all this stuff about how basically you need to, if you're a couple out there, if you can procreate, you got to do it. Otherwise, you're taking away from the humanity of our world. Don't get a pet. Make a human. Tinfoil hats on.
Oh, it's on. Okay. First of all, the Pope should not be talking about having kids. He's supposedly a virgin, and all of his cardinals are only attracted to young boys. So I don't feel like they should be talking about procreating. Okay. But now here is my thing. Okay. Here is my thing about this. I think that there is an ulterior motive here, and it's not about whatever. I think there's 2 different potential ulterior tinfoil hats, okay? And both of it come down to declining populations. Now, number 1, it could be the amount of people within the Catholic faith. The Catholic faith is at 1.35 billion last count, like 2 years ago. Anti-vax and COVID.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah, but it's probably a little bit lower now since COVID because not a lot of them got vaccines. So I would say that, a significant population, but dwindling, right? And if you want to be the controlling religion in the world, you need to have the most people. Well, guess what populations and religions aren't having a problem with procreating? And that's their biggest quote unquote rival, which is the Muslim faith, right? So now that we know that could be number 1. All right. But I think it's more important or more focused on something else. And that is something I've broken down on my show about the economy. Now, I'm not going to bust out the whiteboard because I am itching for the whiteboard right now, but it's not the time or the place. Now, here's what I will do. Here's what I'll talk about. And this is going to be a really cool thing to tell you about, and I don't have a lot of time, but I'm going to tell you about this. In the 1960s, late 1960s, MIT got together the smartest economists, philosophers, everything, right? All the smartest minds. And they had computers back then that were the size of your car garage. And they got this computer and they put in all this data points of information, right? And they accounted for like every possible outcome. They couldn't obviously know what kind of technology we're going to have, 55, 60 years later, but they put in variables for like population growth and pollution and amount of food and this and that and weather patterns and everything. They put it all in there. And the consensus is that society was going to collapse in the year 2040. That was the consensus.
Didn't we go through this already? December 21st, 2012.
We talked about
Mayan calendar.
Population. No. We talked about. No. This is totally different.
I'm saying as a society, we've gone through a couple doomsday. We've gone through a couple.
But this is actually data points, and the reason is because one thing was a constant, and it was either because of weather changes, whether it was because of famine, whether it was because of society changes. Now, real quick. To anybody here who is a millennial who's not married or doesn't have kids, or either one, the real reason nobody's having kids nowadays is because it's too fucking expensive. They can't afford it. They can't buy houses. They can't get a job with good raise. They can't get it. And when they do, by the time they have kids, they're in their late 30s and they have one. So we have a dwindling population. Data came out this past year. The U.S. birth rate will only increase this past year by 0.1%. Replenishment numbers at the low end is 1.1 to 0.7 to 1.1% at the bare minimum. We're 90% below that. China already having a reversing on their population. Japan, crisis. South Korea, everyone's having a crisis. And the reason that they said that this was the main factor was because here's the thing. An aging population relies on a younger population to replenish them and to care for them and to pay for them, whether it's through subsidies, whether it's through taxes, whether it's through at home. If every generation has less and less kids, you have more and more people needing support from less and less people, meaning the younger people have to work harder, longer hours, have more responsibilities, meaning they're even more less likely to have kids. And when populations decline and you have more people that are required care and sustainment from a smaller dwindling population that just keeps getting smaller, you now have a grinding halt of an economy. You have a turnaround. You have less people in the workforce, less people making food. You get famine. You get economic crashes. You get all kinds of problems. And eventually that will kill off a population or a species. So now that I just went on all of that, which I wish we probably should have edited down because I'm not on my stream. With that being said, I think this is a capitalism thing. I think the Vatican, which is its own damn country. For those who don't know, a lot of you guys that are listening don't know this. They are their own entity. They are their own country, and they have trillions of dollars in assets that are hidden, buried, that nobody can touch because, hey, listen, they're their own country, and they want to keep pumping in that money, so they need more good Catholics, they need more population, and they need society to continue to pump out kids. Plus, they don't want to lose out to what they would say is the other giant religion.
The competitors.
Okay, there we go.
The competitors. I mean, if you're going to look at if you're going to
would you really call that competitors?
If you're gonna put your capitalism hat on, I'm gonna frame it up for what it would be through the capitalist lens, and that's just competition. He said that giving up on being a mother or father can take some of our humanity away from us, adding society becomes older, and without humanity, because we lose the richness, or society becomes older, and without humanity, because we lose the richness of motherhood and fatherhood. Nations suffer from this, is what he says. Now, you're a father. Would you agree with that?
No.
He's not a father. Do you think a guy who's never been a father can say this? I mean, he's obviously going to say it, and it's going to be influential because he's the damn Pope. But I mean, what does he know? He hasn't fathered any children that we know of.
Listen, Ryan, I want you to queue up "I'm Proud to Be an American" right now. From
right
the
here.
lakes of Minnesota. Alex, if I'm one thing, it's a patriot. I love this country. I love America. I love the American people. And I want to see this country continue in its glory. And that is why here and now, I'm going to make a statement. I am willing to sacrifice. Nay, it would be my honor to make that sacrifice and say, if there are any attractive women out there that need to procreate, that need to breed, I know what you're saying. But it's okay. I am willing to be that guy.
He's gonna take the fall.
I am willing to do my patriotic duty to make sure that this country continues in its greatness. And if that requires me having sex with every 8 and 9 out of 10 women in America in order for us to continue this, our species and our way of life, God damn it, I'll do it.
I got we backed off on the 8 and went to the 9. 8's not good enough. 9, it's 9 or above.
Listen.
Stocky can do it. Guys, Stocky can do it. He's got a plan. Stocky's got a plan. We can get behind that.
I hope my wife's not listening. Oh, shit. She's going to listen to this podcast.
You listen to this with her. You listen to these podcasts with her.
Yeah, I just totally forgot about that. Listen, my wife is a patriot too, damn it.
All right, Ryan, we're good with the proud to be an American. We're good. If it's still been going, we're good with it at that point. Man, that was very, very, I wasn't ready for that. It was very, it was very platformy. Like, you're getting ready for a little bit. Like you want to,
Say something, okay?
This
country ain't going to fall.
You're going to run for
something.
Okay?
I will not allow this country to fall the way that Nancy Pelosi will allow a tower to fall in her city.
If you're not going to let this country fall, please get to San Francisco right away, because there's a leaning San Francisco skyscraper that is tilting 3 inches per year as engineers rush to implement a fix. The 58-story, 645-foot tall Millennium Tower is now tilting 26 inches north and west in the heart of San Francisco's financial district. And you've been to San Francisco. You've been to San Francisco?
Oh, hell no. My wife always wants to go there. I said, why the fuck would I go? She goes, we can see Alcatraz. I'm not flying 5 hours each way after 3 hours in an airport on this way and 3 hours that way. So what, 12 hours of travel time to fly to some overpriced, smelly, shit street covered, needles everywhere, stupid city so that I can get on a boat, go across cold water, pass some stupid bridge and to an island where a bunch of people haven't been in years, so that I can listen to some retired guy who hates his life, who does the same fucking tour every single day, telling me about where Al Capone took a shit and where some bird guy, sent messages and how 3 people might have escaped and we don't know. Do I really need to spend all that time and money for that?
Was me I wound you up.
I'm sorry,
literally.
I blacked out. What were we talking about?
I think I wound you up as
Listen,
far
I
as
say
you
let
can
the
get
tower
wound up.
fall. I say let the tower fall. Make sure everybody's out of it. Let the tower fall. It can only improve the city. That's all I'm saying.
You asked why would you go there? I mean, it's got good food. I mean, San Francisco's got good food. If I'm gonna look
San
at the
San Francisco's got food. I live in South Florida. Okay, I got great food down here.
I'm not saying I'm not taking anything away from South Florida. Not taking it. Man, I know a lot of South Floridians. I say good things about other parts of the country, and they're be like, hey, by the way, South Florida, also very good. Yes, we know. We get it. South Florida is very, very good.
Shit.
South Florida is very
but the
nice.
Food's good.
Food's very good. It's incredible. It's also good in San Francisco. That's about as much as I can say positive about San Francisco from a quality of life standpoint. It's pretty dirty down there, and it's pretty packed with people. I'm sure those that live there are having a good time, but honestly, they need to do something. No one who lives
in San Francisco is having a good time. Find me one person who lives in San Francisco who recommends it.
What, recommends living in San Francisco?
Yeah.
Bro, I'm telling you, good food. That's about it. You got to get out. The traffic in San Francisco is insane. I don't know how they're gonna knock this building down. What do you mean? What do you mean? Let it fall?
Knock it down? Fuck that. No. Let's take bets on when it falls.
I don't know. Listen, if this falls, it takes out at least 363 people when it lands. They're gonna panic about this.
No, you just make sure you cordon that off, and people will be like, "Oh, what about all the other buildings it takes out?" Good, even more improvements to San Francisco. Shit, when was that? When was the great earthquake in San Francisco? When's the next one that's gonna?
Wasn't it like 1906, maybe like 100?
That was like 1905.
Yeah, something like that. Residents were informed that the building is settling unevenly and more than anticipated in 2016. The tower sits beside the Salesforce Transit Center, a bus terminal, and potential future rail.
Salesforce, so CRM stock, short CRM. All right,
pretty much. Potential future rail terminus for California's high-speed rail network, currently under construction, but efforts to stabilize the sinking and leaning skyscraper seem to worsen matters. That's good. efforts to
I feel like I
stabilize.
sound pissed off today. I don't know why.
You sound a little angry. You sound a little tilted.
I do
just
sound a little
bit.
angry. Like, I feel like I haven't said anything nice. Like, I ended my stream today with like such a positive fucking thing about taking care of people and loving people and spending time with those you love. And now here I am talking to. Never
You
mind.
said that today? You said those words?
Oh man, I had a moment. I almost teared up at the end of my stream because I was talking about how, I always end my stream with, become an organ donor and some guy goes,
great outro, by the way. Great
he's
outro.
like, I always feel poor when you do your outro. I said, why? He goes, because I donated my kidney to my dad a few years ago, so I don't have any. Because I always end the stream with, as long as you got 2 kidneys, you ain't broke. And he said, I gave one of my kidneys to my dad, and I said, then you know what? You're richer than anyone in this chat because you got to spend more time with your dad. And then I said to people, I said, you know how I always tell you guys after all this, if you love somebody, you miss somebody, you haven't talked in a while, give them a call, give them a text, send them an email, let them know you're thinking about them. You never know, whatever. And then I went on a tangent that I've never gone on before. And I said, have you ever had a dog that you had to put down? And if you did, and I started thinking about my dog, my last dog, I said, how many of you guys have sat there hugging your good boy or good girl, holding his or her hand, crying, saying goodbye, and saying, I wish I would have taken you out when you asked. I wish I would have played ball with you a little more. I wish I would have given you a few more treats and a few more pets. And I said, we go through that, and then we tell ourselves, if I ever have another dog, I'll make sure I never make that mistake again. But we do, because we get complacent. And I said, but you've said those words. Now think about your family and your friends and your kids and your wife and your brother, your sister, anybody. You don't get to have another dog. You get to have another dog. You don't get to have another one of them. Don't make the same mistake. Remember those words you said and apply it.
You said all that today?
Oh,
all that today? Okay, that's stark contrast. I messaged you today and I said, hey, talking to you tonight at 6 p.m. You responded, unfortunately.
Well, yeah, because you're not one of those people.
You responded.
Like you, I'd be like, I would even take you to the vet. I'd just take you out behind the shed.
Then I had to say, fortunately, fix that for you. Positive outlook, Stocky. Positive
Why do you have
outlook.
to ruin it? I literally said, I feel angry. See, this is what I said about winding up. See, you play like you're the fucking victim, and you don't. I move from angry to soft and heartfelt, and you go right back to it. That's how you felt? Because you literally were a dick later, and now you get me going again.
Well, yeah, you're the one who said I feel angry today, and I'm like,
this is why we're on story 5, and we have 16 stories.
We're gonna have a lot that we need to get to. If you are feeling angry today, you need to go get yourself some comfort food. You know what that looks like? That looks like a Taco Bell.
Comfort food to me?
That looks like a Taco Bell new subscription service. Go get yourself
Taco Bell is not comfort food.
Who eats just one taco? According to an article on TheVerge.com. Guys, if you can see this right here, for those that are watching, Taco Lovers Pass. Treat yourself to a taco for 30 days from the Taco Lovers Pass menu only on the app at participating locations. Taco Bell has announced a subscription that lets you redeem one taco per day for 30 days, and it's called Taco Lovers Pass. The way it works is simple. You pay $10 for the pass in Taco Bell's app and get access to a secret menu that lets you pick which taco you'll like to redeem at a participating location. You'll be able to get a single taco per day and can choose from the crunchy taco. Oh my good Lord. I was going to list these. Okay. Crunchy tacos, soft tacos. There's a spicy potatoes.
This is a fucking Taco Bell ad? Jesus Christ.
No, this is you need to go eat your some comfort food. Get yourself.
I thought you were going to say my wife's taco. I was like, dude, come on.
Oh.
All right. So here's the thing about this. First of all, I'm not a Taco Bell fan, but I did eat. I do remember Taco Bell when I was in the military because I'd get off on the weekends. I would grab a Crunchwrap Supreme, and I would head to the casino and play poker. That I remember. The only other reason I remember Taco Bell is because my wife, when I first met her, she was vegetarian before I just corrupted her there and other places. And she only used to go there because they used to have bean burritos and bean tacos. Now, with all that being said, Taco Bell is not comfort food. Okay, I don't care. I'm not a fan of Taco Bell. I've never finished eating Taco Bell and felt good about myself. There has never been a time I have eaten Taco Bell and felt good about myself. I've never felt better about myself.
I was just talking about this with my brother last night. You have 3 bites of Taco Bell to enjoy it, and then every bite after that, you're going to start hating yourself. 3 to enjoy it. Don't finish the taco, or get a small taco, eat it. Don't get the rest of your food. You have a very limited.
Like every conversation I have with you, like the first few is great, and then it's just like, okay, now I regret this. But
didn't you say all those nice words today on your stream?
Turning this into a positive thing, for those of you guys who do want to make a change out there, I have a 5-head thing. You can be a good person and help another person out and not be that expensive. If you are near a Taco Bell and you see a homeless person, I want you to go spend $10 and buy that person a taco pass, and you will feed them for 30 days. Maybe it's only one taco a day, but you know what? For $10, you're never going to see that person again, but you just fed somebody for 30 days.
Or check to make sure that that homeless person can eat Taco Bell. Maybe they're a vegetarian, and a lot of these Taco Bell locations like to share their space with, you know, KFC and Pizza Hut.
I just talked about my wife being a vegetarian, eating bean stuff from Taco Bell.
Okay. You know,
I get where you're going with this, but the transition sucked because I literally just said vegetarians and stuff like that. Okay, you know what? Same company.
Listen, Yum Brands, who also owns Taco Bell, has their chicken brand, KFC. KFC is serving new plant-based fried chicken, but it isn't totally vegan. Here's why. KFC, guys, by the way, if you're watching, look at this picture. Look at this picture. That does not look appetizing to me. It's the link you sent me, by the way, Stocky. It's in the header.
Vegans don't look appetizing to me. Have you ever seen a healthy looking vegan?
I mean, I've seen a lot of healthy people, man. So I don't know if they're vegan or not.
For the first year or two, they do, but they've done studies like long-term vegetarianism or veganism, especially, just destroys your body. Like it's just
referencing some ambiguous study.
Grayish. You never noticed that?
Referencing some ambiguous study is nice, and I'm semi-inclined to believe you. But before we get to that, guys, KFC is serving new plant-based fried chicken. Look at this picture. You be the judge if you like the way this looks. It says KFC is adding plant-based chicken to its menus nationwide this week. However, the new food offering could prove problematic for customers seeking vegan and vegetarian options. Last week, the Kentucky-based chicken chain announced the impending arrival of this new Beyond Fried Chicken, developed by meat substitutes company Beyond Meat. The Kentucky Fried Miracle will debut at participating restaurants on Monday, January 10th for a limited time. The companies tested their first iteration of the faux fried chicken in August of 2019. In Atlanta, where it's sold out.
First of all, that's false advertising. It can't be Beyond Fried Chicken because it's not chicken. So that's false advertising, number one. Number two, KFC, if you're listening, and I know you're not, you are the Roman Empire circa AD 305. And I'm telling you why. You got rid of your potato wedges. Bad fucking move. Bad fucking move. Okay, you were the only place that had potato wedges. You got rid of them and brought in some shitty fries, and I hate you for that. Okay, that's number one. And now you're catering to the enemy. Okay, you don't do that. All right, Colonel Sanders is rolling in his fucking grave right now. Okay, you are selling out. Don't be that person. Okay, let the snowflake. Don't do it. Okay, it is disgusting. But with that being said, go ahead.
Wait, hold on. You're saying you don't like the Beyond stuff? Like, you don't like this whole plant-based meat stuff that's happening? Is that like, you just sounded very, very strongly against it?
No, I'm not against it. It's like crypto. Let me explain to you something. Vegetarians, vegans, and crypto people are all the same. Okay? Do I need to explain why? Because I'm going to leave you on a cliffhanger here.
No, keep talking. I mean, we're listening.
Okay.
You have all these people that are the same people.
I don't hate what you're into. I hate you because you don't shut the fuck up about it. That's what I hate. I hate what you like, not because I don't like it, but because I hate you, okay? I don't need to hear crypto bros tell me all fucking day about, it's the future, man. It's fucking fiat currency, man. It's this, man. Fucking yeah, man. I bought Bitcoin at 60,000, man. Going to 100,000. Vegans, you're disgusting. How could you murder an animal? How could you did this? I murdered your mom's pussy, okay? Okay, listen, let me tell you something, okay? All right? I respect what you like, but you don't see me, okay, out there yelling about how I like, fucking midget amputee porn, okay? Listen, you might like it too, but if all I did was walk around outside, not anymore. But if I went out and was like screaming about it and telling you why you're horrible if you don't watch it, because what kind of person are you? You watch non-amputees? Oh, you're disgusting. You don't even care. Like, I get it, but I'm sorry, I'm blacking out again. You know what? Are we running over time here?
I think I just asked you if you like Beyond Meat, and then that resulted in that.
I blacked out again.
So
I do it
guys,
on stream
real quick. We're at our time here. KFC spoke.
No, we're not. Real quick. I want to hit this story up. Listen, I want to go back to what I was saying about taking care of people. Right? If you see a homeless person, buy them a $10 taco pass. I'm not even kidding about that. If you have $10 laying around, you're not going to do anything with it. You're probably going to waste it on a scratch off. Buy a homeless person that. And if you say, you know what, Stocky, I'm not giving my money to somebody else. I want to invest my money. I can make a lot of money with that $10. You're damn right you can. You can buy a 30-day taco pass. And if you are attractive, one of those women that I'm willing to sacrifice to have sex with, and you're attractive enough and you have a good following, you can use those. Well, my wife's a 7. You can use those tacos to get gas, and in turn, you could potentially fart in a jar and sell it for $1,000 50 times a week, make $50,000 a week selling your farts. And guess what? The market was saturated and it was cornered, but it is now opened up because the lady, and I don't know if we're gonna get to the story, who was doing it has had to quit for health reasons. And guess what? The demand is there. There is no supply. So ladies, I already talked to Amaranth. I think she's got it covered, but she's too busy buying gas stations and inflatable pool companies. So Exo Ariel, anybody else out there, listen, there is an opening for this if you're willing to make money.
Guys, Stocky's talking about an article on metro.co.uk, a 90-day fiance star. By the way, have you seen that show? Have you seen any of those episodes?
I have not seen that. I've never seen that show.
It's insane.
We already talked about this. I don't watch TV.
90 Day Fiance is insanely trash television that is so indulgently good. It's like, I've only seen it one time.
It's my stream.
I've only seen it one time. It's insane. Guys, 90 Day Fiance star who made 38,000 what is that? Is that euro? What is that? No, what is that that sign? Is that lira? What is this?
I said the same thing and everyone fucking roasted me. No, it's not a lira. I thought it was a lira. Apparently it's a pound.
That's a pound? Okay, I thought it was a lira. My bad, y'all.
I thought it was a lira too, and people were like, no one uses the fucking lira. I'm like, wow, I'm old. But then I remember when Czechoslovakia was on the map.
90 Day Fiance star who made 38,000 pounds a week selling farts in a jar is hospitalized. I thought it was a stroke, she says. Stephanie Matto recently shed light on her unusual stream of income, explaining how she utilized her 260K strong following as her customer base to sell her pungent product, which retailed at a princely 1,000 USD a jar. At one point, demand was so high for Stephanie's wind that she was producing up to 50 jars worth of farts a week. However, she may have squeezed out one too many as the reality star had to make a hospital dash. Stephanie, 31, recalled how she consumed 3 protein shakes and a huge bowl of black bean soup in one day before feeling that something was not right with the pressure in her stomach that moved upwards throughout her body. A human's not intended to be a fart factory, Stephanie, but when you're making that much money, you got to power through. You got to power through. That's 50K a week selling farts.
You power through. I don't care. You ask the hospital, hey, listen, I don't know if you're going to operate on me, but if you open up my gastro tract, I need you to capture every fucking fume that comes out because I'm selling that shit.
In reality, though, she said, I thought I was having a stroke and that these were my final moments. I was overdoing it. She says it was quite hard to breathe. And every time I tried to breathe in, I'd feel a pinching sensation around my heart. So obviously she needed to do what was right for her. So those that were out there hoping to get a jar of Stephanie's farts, like she's at the end.
She's genius. She's gonna her quitting doing this is gonna bring only more press to it, and then she's gonna sell something else. I don't know if it's gonna be pee in a jar or she's gonna spit in somebody, or I don't know. But I really feel like this is a springboard to something else.
I was in a hotel with my wife and she put 90 Day Fiance on, and I was like, "What the hell is this?" And she's like, She was like, "It's ridiculous." And I saw it and it was insane and also wildly entertaining but also insane. I don't know if you haven't watched, you should watch some stuff on YouTube about it. It's insane, bro. It's so because
I literally grabbed my child the other day. I brought the TV from the living room or the bedroom into the living room because we did like a sleepover in the baby's playpen over the weekend, and I did like a fort and everything like that. And we were watching something, and I went out and did some work and came in, and my wife and daughter were watching the TV, and they were both into it. And I grabbed my daughter and walked out of the house and told my wife, "Do not poison my child." They were watching the new Sex and the City together.
You also said that about when your wife tried to play Christmas music around your child. We talked about this a few months ago. That's also what you an attempt to save your child from poisoning. So I think
and I'm a good dad.
I think Christmas is fine.
Oh, real quick, Ryan. I don't know if we're gonna have to do this or not, but we spent so much time with.
We did the 90 Day Fiance, but the ex-boss that paid the Georgia worker in all oily pennies. We're gonna have to talk about that next time. 4.5 million Americans. That all quit their job in November. The Great Resignation is still going strong. Bob Saget, John Madden, Betty White, White House versus Big Meat, Grand Theft Auto maker buys Farmville. Guys, there's so many things that we didn't talk about because we talked about football for 20 minutes at the beginning. Thank you guys all for hanging out. Stocky, what you got? You don't want to say bye? Any final thoughts?
And I wanted to like touch on the.
No, that was intentional. That was it.
No, that wasn't. I was reading Farmville at the same time because I have the run of show up right now.
Okay, go ahead. Go forth. You wanted to talk about the Bob Saget stuff.
Bob Saget, John Madden, Betty White thing. I really wanted to do a memoriam thing and like what was our favorite moments for them. But I would say this. Which was your favorite Bob Saget? Was it Full House or was it America's Funniest Home Videos?
Well, there was also a third one. There was a third Bob Saget. I liked the American Funniest Home Videos.
I'm not talking about the raunchy stand-up comedian.
Yeah, raunchy Bob Saget that happened later in life. I wasn't prepared for that. I'm still not ready for that. But America's Funniest Home Videos. I like that Bob Saget the best.
Real quick, we'll just do another show. We'll do memorandum about them because I want to talk about John Madden and the Madden football with Bo Jackson and how that was such a bullshit cheat, and Betty White about how technically everybody who is out there screaming, oh, she was so close to her 100th birthday, she didn't quite make it. I wanted to leave you a little bit of a little nugget of information. Betty White lived through enough leap years that technically she made it to 100 years old.
Shout out Betty White. Shout out Betty White. She was also in her 40s when the JFK assassination happened. Like, that's insane. That's nuts that she lived an entire life after that. Post her 40. I mean, like Betty White's been around forever. Shout out Betty White. Also, the leap year thing is a big deal. Guys, thank you all for listening today. Thank you guys for hanging out.
All didn't kill JFK.
Guys, this is where's the hat? You gotta put the hat on if you're gonna say something like that.
Oh, it's not a conspiracy theory.
Guys, this was episode 9. No, we gotta talk about that later. We'll talk about the JFK. We don't have enough time. We're at an hour and 11, guys.
How about this? This is they always say, tell me a conspiracy theory that's not true that I could get behind. I'll tell you one right now. Marilyn Monroe was sent in to hook up with JFK in order to get dirt on him that was later used in the cover-up for the assassination.
Marilyn Monroe? Where'd you read this?
I'm making this up. I'm creating a new conspiracy theory.
In this moment?
Yes, and because she knew too much, she was killed, and it looked like a drug overdose.
That was very good. If you just made that up on a whim, that was very, very good. Guys, this was episode 9 of the Stocky and Alex Show, the podcast that covers topics around the world, business, news, markets, money, and sports. People are talking about it. So are we. Stocky and Alex Show can be watched, listened, and viewed on YouTube, also Spotify, and very soon, everywhere else that podcasts are downloaded. Follow the show on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, and all the major socials for clips, moments, and information about new episodes. It's weekly now, guys. We're going to be a weekly show. We'll see you next week. Some episodes might be run long like this. Others might be 40, 50. Depends on what's going on in the week. Stocky, final thoughts?
Marilyn Monroe died 1 year before JFK was assassinated.
There you go. He's going to leave you with that, guys.
She knew too much.
One love, everybody. Bye.
They had to cut the loose ends.
Bye.